Hello everyone. This is the 20th part of the story, Percy Jackson, the God of Magic. Chapter 96. Hell, according to some legends, it had 7 rings, one for each 7 deadly sin: pride, wrath, lust, greed, envy, gluttony, sloth, each one with their own prince, and stupid hierarchy, and now I was here. I swear sometimes I feel my life is made to entertain others, anyways. After learning where I was, I did the first thing that came to my mind, learning about the place, which is why I entered the nearest bar, and before anyone in the future asks, I did not abandon Honey. She flew away after a good meal. Never seen you around here before, the bartender grunted. He was a demon that looked like a bipedal snake or lizard, and I couldn't help but wonder what type of demon he was. With a sigh, I shook my head and eyed the demon, noticing he was wearing a pair of ripped pants and dirty apron that said "fuck my life." That's my mood right now. I don't go out much, I replied with a yawn, fucking regeneration still kicking me down. The snake-like demon looked at me for a second, and then all of the sudden started to laugh. "You smell like fresh meat, brat. You still reek of the human world," he added with a chuckle. "Don't worry, I ain't gonna bite you." "Right, so any idea where is the exit?" I asked with a smile. I assume the high-ups know, so where can I find the demon that runs this ring? At this, the entire bar goes silent. "Kid, if you like your freedom, don't even think of talking with Satan," the demon muttered, looking quite frightened. "Okay," I muttered, noticing a discrepancy in the prince ruling this ring. After all, according to myths, Lucifer was the prince of the pride ring, when in this case it was Satan. Look, demon lords are the only ones that have access to the living world. So, you better get comfortable, the demon sighed, going back to polishing his dirty mugs. "I will still try, Satan or not. I was not going to be caged here." "Ha! Then you'd be forced to either join his army, for manual labor, or become his personal cock sleeve, Let's backtrack for a second, his personal what? Oh, hell to the no, I will not relive the Ares situation. I snorted. Yeah, not gonna happen. Whatever, it's your funeral, the demon snorted. Now get out, if you ain't buying shit I can't be wasting my time with ya. With a sigh, I left the bar and started to wander around the town, taking mental notes of what I had to do. First, I would have asked how strong were the princes of hell. If belief affected them like it affected the gods, well, let's just say Satan will kill me, which is why I will do some research before jumping into the fray. With a pensive look on my face, I continued to walk down the streets, looking around, trying to gather as much information as possible. The denizens of hell and their conversations were my best bet to find some answers, maybe the book, but in a more secluded area. "What do we have here?" A two-headed demon chuckled, looking at me with a lustful smile. "Fuck my life. You're a strange-looking demon," he said as he circled me, pointing a sharp butter knife at me. What did he pretend to do with that? Put some jelly on me, butter perhaps, and then what? Hope I'm allergic to anything that can go into a sandwich. As the not very smart demon circled me, 3 other demons joined him. Unlike the first idiot, who was slim, the other 2 were contrasts. One was super muscular and had nothing but a skull for a face, and the other was fat, morbidly so, and to top that, he had his mouth of his belly, and it wasn't a normal-sized mouth, but one as wide as his massive belly, which, to be honest, was probably the most disturbing shit I have ever seen. And I lived in Tartarus, that's how disturbing this shit was. Look, I have other things to do, so skip the thug monologue and go right to the deal, I asked them, still keeping an eye on Mr. Belly Mouth. "Thug talk." "I will enjoy breaking your. You looked like you'd make quite the pretty slave. Rich demons pay a hefty coin for a good trained slut," the demon replied with a cruel grin. The time had come. I knew this day would come, the day my booty was once again in danger. But unlike last time where I was weak and unable of stopping the evil forces from pursuing my divine cheeks, I now had the power to protect the holy booty from the hands of those who looked to harm the sacred rectum.
Yeah.
You three will die, I stated, Dorime for them indeed. We will. And what will a weak little demon like yourself do to stop us? Killing those 3 demons was as hard as killing 3 flies, with magic of course, without magic. Flies were hard to kill, those little bastards can dodge for days with their tiny eyes, anyway getting off the point, I killed them with such ease. I felt kinda bad for them, I mean, dying by a bitch slap has to be the most humiliating way to go. And the worst yet funniest part was, that it wasn't like I killed the 3 with a slap each, no, I killed all of the 3 with a single slap. I was either too strong for demon standards or those 3 were painfully weak, maybe both? Alright, now that the back of my hand is all, wait a second, I already used this line, oh well, time to explore this ring. Find the demon lord and get the fuck out, I chuckled, wondering how would Sun Wukong and Thor explain this to Hestia. Chapter 97. After saving my holy booty, I walked around the town aimlessly, not sure for how long. Time here was weird, not weird Tartarus level, but weird. I was sure I had been here for more than a day, and yet the town clock had yet to move from 2 to 3, that could either mean, 1, the 2 clock was fucked, 2, they operated under a different timetable, oh well. Oh hey. It's you. I recognized that voice, it was Honey. Slowly I turned around to see the succubus I had first met a day or so ago. How ya been? Hungry again? I asked, with a smirk. No, well, maybe, so what ya say, can I steal a kiss or 2, or maybe blow you up, Honey replied with a giggle. At that I rolled my eyes. But that isn't the reason I want to talk to you, I just want to repay your generosity. That shit is weird down here, she sighed. So, wanna eat some delicious plates of hell cuisine? I know how to make a killing worm dog. Worm dog? Doesn't sound very appetizing, but then again, I ate shit in Tartarus from the bodies of my enemies to avoid the curse of Hades, so I suppose I could give it a shot. With a sigh, I nodded at the girl and followed her, slowly getting out of the small town as she led me to a desert nearby the town. Was I worried she was leading me outside, luring me to a secluded place? No, I was vastly stronger than her. If she tried to kill me or do something I would be able to overpower her with ease. So I decided to give her the benefit of the doubt. Everyone deserved at least one chance. That was not to say I was not keeping an eye around me, because for all I knew, she could very well be leading me to a stronger demon, and who knows how strong a demon higher in the food chain can be. Eventually she leads me to a cave, where she pulls a small stove under a rock, and, some worms, will get you the worm dog in a bit, she smiled, biting her lower lip. Unless you want to have some dessert first? Maybe later, I chuckled. What can I say after the initial shock? I was curious to see if sex with a demon was any different to sex with a human. Making progress, yay. Honey giggled. So, a cave? I asked, trying to change the subject, making so small chat. Yes, this is my home, Honey smiled, though this smile had a sad undertone. Why a cave? I asked, wondering why exactly. Well, I'm a lesser demon, this is the best we get. Honey chuckled bitterly. Honey, time to suck my dick. A deep voice growled, making Honey shiver in fear almost immediately. You owe me rent, bitch, so spread them legs. Run. Honey muttered, looking at me, her eyes no longer having the same lustful spark she would usually have. No, all of that was replaced with fear, lots of fear. And, now. I wanted to stay. I was not one to go out of my way to save others, but, what kind of gentleman would I be if I let someone who was cooking something for me, albeit it looked disgusting? The gesture was appreciated. No, I mouthed silently, as I eyed the entrance of the cave, seeing a big anthropomorphic demon-like pig entering the cave naked. So much for foreplay. Who the fuck are you? The demon pig growled, looking at me as if I was an ant. Get the fuck out, he demanded, walking towards me. I was about to have a nick. There was no way I was going to call worms a nice dinner, I was about to have some dinner with honey here. And you like brute interrupted that. I smiled at him condescendingly, as I eyed the terrified honey. Look at our interaction, now. Begone. With a simple glare, I made the demon burst into flames, dying a fast and agonizing death. The poor fool didn't even have the time to squeal like a pig before going to super hell. I will research that later. Alright, so about those worm dogs. With a smile I turned my attention to Honey, to see her even more scared. Why you're a demon lord? Honey yelled in fear as she started to panic, trying to hide behind a rock. So much for gratitude. Yeah. No. I'm a god, I replied, as if I would, maybe. I probably had a higher kill count than most demon lords, but she didn't know that. Oh. Wait, like God with capital G? Honey inquired, peeking from behind the rock. No, I'm from the Roman/Greek pantheon, I snorted. God with capital G. If I were that, I would most certainly not be here. So, you're not going to enslave me, or eat me, or torture me? Honey muttered in hopeful disbelief. No. I mean, we already established you want me to eat you, but not in the way you are implying right now, so I guess we are good. I chuckled. Oh good. I almost peed myself. My last master was a rather cruel demon lord, so, trying to lay low, Honey sighed. So, the Greek gods exist, like Zeus and all. At that I nodded. Wow, that is so cool. Zeus, not so much. I snorted, and don't worry about that with me. The only thing I torture and enslave are cookies and beer. I laughed. But in all seriousness, I have a problem with that. Thor got me addicted to booze. That bastard is a bad influence. Then again, I can't get fully drunk, so a win. Win? Booze is the one thing that keeps me from ending it all. Honey giggled. She was taking the fact there were more than one god too well. I guess it's one of the perks of living in hell. But, yeah, don't worry, as a god I would not scratch that, 'cause Zeus and others would, but Adam Aragon will not hurt ya, at least not unprovoked, I stated. As long as she didn't try to off me, I would be dandy. Good to know. But hey, I have a question. If you are a god, why is your energy so tainted with the pain of many? And also, why do you have such an ominous being inside you? I didn't notice before, but after you killed that bastard, I saw something inside of you, something dangerous. How was I supposed to respond to that? I mean, like, well, my dad, who I don't know who it is, decided to create a void avatar to protect me or kill me, who knows? Oh, and I also ate millions of humans and monsters in Tartarus, so BFFs. Chapter 98. After eating the most horrible thing I've ever eaten, aka the worm dog, and avoiding an explanation about my weird aura to Honey, I stayed in the cave with the succubus, reading my grimoire, trying to see if there was any way to get out of here, without having to go hunting through hell. Then again, I could also use this adventure as a training opportunity. Perhaps the princes of hell would give me a challenge. You should go, Honey whispered with a smile, sadness overtaking her. When word gets out that you killed this bastard, they'll come for you. And no matter how strong you are, no one can stand against Satan's generals. He was important? I snorted at the thought of that pig being anything but dirt beneath my feet. In a way, Honey said, averting her eyes from me in something akin to shame. He was the sheriff of this town, you could say. She chuckled bitterly. The moment his boss, the demon lord ruling this district, hears about his demise, he will come, and or send someone to kill you. I eyed the succubus for a moment, before I broke into a fit of a laugh. Perhaps, but I highly doubt any demon will match me. Though I have my reservations to the princes of each ring, I doubt common demons or demon lords would threaten me in any way. Was I being cocky? Perhaps, but even if I found demons stronger than me, I would not run. I didn't run in the face of bigger things. Will not start doing that now. Don't be all macho. Honey hissed, I already like you, so stop trying to sound tough and go home, to wherever the Greek gods live. Girl, this ain't my first rodeo in hell. The only difference here is, this hell is like a summer vacation in the Bahamas compared to Tartarus. I chuckled, they had breathable air, that alone made this place better. Then, don't die, okay? Honey chuckled, it would be a shame if my favorite source of food suddenly died. Touching, I snorted, going back to my book, trying to understand the new chapter that I had unlocked by doing nothing, and well, so far I had no real opinion of it. I mean, I was only able to read one single line, the chapter of the void, and that was it. Yep. After that the rest was made of letters that didn't look like letters, runes perhaps. Fuck. I sighed. Now. Honey smiled, and I rolled my eyes at her. A few hours later, I felt a few magical signatures coming to the cave. They were strong, nothing too dangerous. One of them specifically was quite strong. Was that a demon lord? What a totally unexpected. I had to admit, I did not expect a demon to be this strong. He was above the Minotaur in raw magic, quite impressive. Perhaps this was going to be an entertaining hunt. Master. There he is. Someone outside the cave shouted, which immediately made Honey drop to her knees shaking, as she repeated over and over again, we are all gonna die, so much for believing in me. Taking a deep breath, I closed my book, putting it back in my bag, before going out to face the demons. Sup. I waved at them with a saccharine sweet smile. Kill him, the strongest demon commanded, and his lackeys jumped at me, 2 of the 3 he had brought. Poor idiots, following a suicidal command to the very end. I have to admire that, poor idiots. They didn't even see it coming, as my hand carefully ripped their heads off. Heck, even the strong bitch in the litter didn't see shit. Perhaps I was overhyping this demon. I mean, I knew I was going to win, but this was simply boring. This is sad, I smiled, pulling the souls of the demons I had killed out with my magic. After all, if I was in hell I might as well get some protein, right? So, you don't mind if I eat them, right? I inquired before I swallowed their souls whole. I wasn't really expecting an answer, not I wanted one. Ugh. But still better than the worm dog. I whispered the last part, only for the unknown demon to hear. You are fast, the strong demon growled, but I am stronger. What a riveting conversation. Sure, I snorted. This made the demon rush at me in anger. Unlike last time where I killed 2 out of 3 of his companions, I used magic. More specifically magic beams that pierce his organs in order of importance. The attack proved too fast for him to see. And as a result, he dropped to the floor screaming, instead of instantly dying. He was surprisingly durable. Most, including the Minotaur whose strength was around his level, would have died with that attack. So, is this the time where you show me? I don't know, your secret weapon, or transformation, I chuckled, poking one of the bloody holes I had created with my attack, which in turn made him scream even more. Oh well, I had my fun, time to wrap this up. Goodbye. I smiled at him, before ripping his soul out, making his last memory, being me, looking down on him. You killed them, Honey muttered, in shock, and she wasn't the only one. I was also shocked to see her out here, when a minute ago she was having a panic attack. You really are powerful. At that I snorted. I can hardly consider this an honorable victory. This was the human equivalent of killing kittens, if the kittens in question had to use wheelchairs with square wheels. I chuckled. Frankly, this was incredibly disappointing. Then again, I don't know what did I expect. Considering I had long far surpassed the Minotaur before I ascended, decades before that, wishful thinking perhaps. I will tell the. And he was dead. All it took was a pebble to pierce his skull, killing him instantly. What a sad development. Thor point of view. What in the world did that book do to him? I growled. One moment he was awake and then next, he was frozen, unmoving. Well, if I have to take a guess, the power of the Grimoire and the power we gods have to be in multiple places at the same time collided, creating a paradoxical scenario. In the best case, the Adam we have will wake up and realize he's in two places at the same time, Odin sighed, but considering the magic of the book was involved, we might have to wait for the other Adam to be aware of what is going on, which depending on where he is, it might take a bit, Odin concluded. God damn it. I muttered. This was the second time I had failed to have his back. Well, I will stay here in the meantime. I owe the kid that much, Sun Wukong, who had been silent this entire time, stated. I will help you guys protect him, and if he doesn't come back, well, I am up for an adventure to find his ass. Adam would have hated the fact the adventure was for his ass, I snorted. Chapter 99. Something didn't feel right. After killing the demons that had come for me or Honey, I don't really know for sure at this point. I noticed some details that didn't fit, like, how did the demons know where I was? Was I being watched? No, if that was the case the prince of this ring would have come himself to take me on. So how did these bastards know I had killed one of them so quickly? It took them a few hours to find out, which it shouldn't have been possible. I mean, I incinerated the body of the pig that wanted to fuck Honey, meaning all that was left of him was a pile of ashes. So if the pig wasn't the one that led them to me, who was it? The first ones, I muttered. It made sense. I had killed a few demons during my time walking around, and unlike Mr. Pig, I didn't incinerated the bodies, so it was very plausible for them to find me through the messy remains of the first 3 demons I had killed, or the demon lords had a way to know when one of their lackeys died. That was also a possibility, that or Honey was selling me out, but to be honest, I didn't want to think she would do that. She looked genuinely scared when I showed her my power, and when those demons arrived. Are you gonna take over the town? Honey inquired, poking me with her tail. I looked at her in something akin to shock. Why would I do that? You killed the mayor and the sheriff. In demon rules that means you should rule. Honey offered with a shrug. If you don't want to, then the next one power-wise will take over. Ruling a town of demons, me, a god, ain't that ironic? I don't think I would make a great mayor, I chuckled. Anything would be better than Rat Hamas and his way, Honey muttered. Most demons will rejoice when they hear you killed him. No one liked him, no one at all, not even his man, but, well, no one had the power to oppose him, so he did as he liked. That is the demon way. With total control over our town, he would go on raping little girls, boys, anything that catched his fancy he would get, and after they didn't entertain him anymore, he would eat them. To say I was shocked was underselling it. The worst part was, everything was true. Every word she said was 100% accurate, because as she talked about Rat Hamas, his memories within me, the ones that still lingered after consuming his soul, confirmed every evil act he committed. The vivid scenes of him, and those poor little, oh God. This fuck, I muttered as I felt his memories play out inside my mind, shaking the very core of my soul. It was so utterly disgusting, it was simply revolting. I could feel it. I could taste it, every memory he had. I would feel as if I did everything he had done, as if I was the one doing all that stuff, and that shouldn't be possible. Why was this affecting me so much? What was the difference between the souls of hell and the souls of Tartarus? Are you okay? Honey rushed to me, with a cup of dirty water, once again reminding me she lived in a cave. Is not clear, but it should help. I'm okay, I was not okay. Those memories, just why, normally the memories I get to see from the souls I have consumed were not like this, and don't get me wrong, I ate the souls of people that would make this guy look like a fucking saint, but their memories were like movies, stuff I would see in a third point of view, not like this. I never experienced their sins through my body. This was a waking call, that I should be more careful eating souls away, at least until I found a way to destroy this terrifying side effect. Don't worry, you don't have to rule the town, Honey smiled, probably thinking that was what made me feel bad all of the sudden. No, on the contrary, I shook my head. If I was to be here, I might as well start messing with the locals, and getting as much attention as possible. After all, according to the bartender I met, the princes of hell were the only ones with a key to the human world, so, becoming a mayor would most likely put me on their radar, and in the way I suppose I can improve the situation around. Maybe get myself some believers down here. I think I would make a great mayor. I smiled at her, liking more and more the idea of getting some follower down here. I mean, if the belief of others can make me stronger like it does for some gods, this was the best place to get some. I could get an entire realm to believe in me, a realm where I would have no competition with other gods. Well, I did have some competition, I suppose, the princes of hell. But if I played my cards right, I would deal with them accordingly. Really? Honey smiled, her eyes filled with hope and expectation. Yes, why not? I chuckled. Odin point of view. It took me a few hours to figure out where the other Adam was. He was in hell, the Christian one, which was quite troubling. The Christian pantheon only had one god, one that, like chaos himself, let things play out and rarely interfere with anyone, but that didn't make the pantheon any less dangerous. Lucifer, Gabriel, Raphael, while not gods by title, had the power to match the gods of other pantheons. So did the princes of hell, but in a smaller scale. Their power was not as impressive as the archangels that guarded the Christian pantheon, which is why the fallen one ruled over them as their king. But while they didn't match Lucifer Morningstar in power, they were certainly strong enough to give Adam a run for his money in combat. And while Adam facing the princes of hell didn't worry me, the fact Lucifer was there, and would undoubtedly find out someone had entered his realm, made this situation worse. I had to avoid Lucifer and Adam meeting, if they did. This kid is a magnet for this shit, I sighed. It seemed it was time to cash out some favors. Chapter 100. The locals took to my new position as I expected. I mean, yes, everyone was happy the guy whose name I already forgot was dead, but some were wary of me, and honestly it was understandable and quite smart. I mean, what was to say I was not worse than the bastard? What guarantee did they have I would not be worse than their last ruler? So in all honesty, I applauded their wariness. As for Honey, well, things got complicated. Alright, fine, more complicated than they already were. For some reason Honey decided the best way to repay what I had done by saving her from a life of slavery was by becoming my slave. I will let that sink in for a minute. Yep, I don't see the logic there either. It's like saving a guy from being killed and then the guy thanks you by shooting himself in the head. The worst part was, I had no say in the matter apparently. The moment she said she would serve me for all eternity, my name appeared in her chest in Greek. Alpha Delta Mu, and I felt a connection with her. So here I was, with a servant, and no idea what to do. What is one supposed to do with a servant? Not used to this. After her pledge to me, I asked Honey about the hierarchy of hell and how things worked around. I wanted more in-depth information about everything, so that I could understand how everything worked, and planned accordingly. Honey, eager to help, explained how their social system, starting with the locals. Lesser demons, aka as the bottom of the bottom, these demons are by most considered property. This class is filled with the sinners that fell after death, and some of the hell-born citizens. According to Honey, most succubi and incubi belong to this category. Greater demons, this rank filled in its majority with hell-born natives, they are usually found on the armies of hell. The demons in this rank are mostly hellhounds, imps, gargoyles, and other hell-born races. Some sinners get here, but most remain in the lower category. Higher demons, these demons are given tasks that require power, like for example, being the mayor of a town. From this point on, according to Honey, everything is based on power alone, meaning anyone can get here as long as they have power to rise the ranks. More than not, this rank is filled with cambions, and, in very rare occasions, alpha hellhounds with enough power to claim such rank. After that rank, things start to get somewhat intriguing and promising. Archdemons, these demons are very powerful and unique. Their power is rarely matched, meaning a baron can stay in power for hundreds of years before any demon can replace them. They usually control big sectors of hell, serving those higher in the food chain obediently. Barons, almost royalty in the demon world. They serve their demon lords with a sick sense of loyalty. Besides that, there is not much information about them. Demon lords, or overlords, their power is apparently mostly unmatched in hell, meaning they answer to no one but their respective prince. Their power is feared across the land, mostly because they are famous for their cruel ways. Up next, the princes and princess of hell. This subject was a tricky one. First I was told Satan was the prince of this ring. The pride ring he was not. Apparently the bartender likes to spread lies and stuff for his own amusement, will prank the bastard later. Anyhow, the princes are feared, but in an almost mythological way. Why? Well, they rarely show themselves, so most demons have no idea how they look, and how powerful they are. All they know is that not even all the demons' lords in each ring together could scratch one of the 7 princes. Heck, not even Honey had much information about them, besides their names and their rings. Leviathan, the prince of pride. Beelzebub, the princess of envy. Sathanas or Satan, the prince of wrath. Abaddon, the prince of sloth. Mammon, the prince of greed. Belphegor, the prince of gluttony. Asmodeus, the prince of lust. Normally, one would think this was the end of the rank, but no, after them, the princes came the king of hell, Lucifer Morningstar. His power is unmatched, making the supreme ruler of hell. Not much is known about him, except the fact he holds grudges for a long time. In terms of power, I wasn't sure I could take on Lucifer. If belief made him stronger, he would be above me, so for the time being I would rank myself on the same level the princes and princess of hell are, at least until I can feel Lucifer and see if he's stronger than me, or if he was nothing but hype. Oh, I almost forgot. Each ring has their own race, or natives. For example, the hellhounds were from the wrath ring, the imps were from the greed ring, and the incubi and succubi were from the lust ring. Those were the only ones Honey knew for sure where they belonged. As a very young demon in demon terms, her knowledge lacks in certain parts, but for now it would suffice. Anyway, while I considered myself to rank as a prince in hell hierarchy, they didn't know that. For other demons I was right now nothing but a higher demon at the moment. The mayor of a small meaningless town. I wonder how long will it take for one of the princes to notice me. I chuckled, wondering how long would it be before Leviathan decided to try and end me. Odin point of view. In order to keep Adam out of Lucifer's sight, I cashed some favors I had been saving for a long time, favors I never expected to use for Adam. I suppose the kid had grown on me. You want me to distract Lucy? Raguel, the archangel of justice of the Christian pantheon, muttered. I find, wouldn't it be better if I just rescued the kid? I shook my head. No, the kid needs his time there. That was if he wanted to control the void. It took me some time, but I finally understood why his Grimoire had sent him to hell. It was to overcome the void inside him. Well, it's your favor, so whatever, Raguel sighed. This marks the end of part 20 of the story Percy Jackson, the God of Magic. Thank you for listening. Please like the video and hit the subscribe button to listen more. Hit the bell icon to get notified of all the new content uploaded to the channel ASAP.